Remember, we spoke with Pat Dye Jr. When the cap actually lowered because of COVID a year ago. It is obviously increased a great deal from last year to this year.
And so their numbers went up. But
Yep.
I mean, playing a guy, I guess next year, what is it, next year he makes $80 million? Is that what?
Who he?
What I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers.
I think
he makes most of the money in the first 2 years. I think it's 80 million.
Yeah, you're right.
Crazy.
That's what he wanted. He wanted guaranteed money up front to stay a Packer, and there is no doubt.
I think they paid too much. I mean, I think
back-to-back
if they don't win a Super Bowl with that kind of money.
Well, who's he going to throw it to? Is Devontae Adams?
Well, I don't know. I don't know their numbers, cap numbers. We can get somebody on, I'm sure.
Well, we're going to get somebody on in hour number 2 that certainly knows his way around an NFL budget, team, storylines, all the above. Is John McClain going to join us in hour number 2? A little bit later on here in hour number 1, the man, myth, the legend. He has a book out as well. We'll talk to him about it, as well as the Auburn Tigers getting ready to see if they can pull an Alabama Crimson Tide, and that is win a regular season, then win a tournament title in the same year as Auburn, the 1 seed, getting ready for their Friday matchup. They don't know who they're playing yet because the SEC tournament starts on, tomorrow, on Wednesday. But for Auburn, the tournament starts on Friday. Big advantage to the top 4 seeds in the SEC tournament. And coming up here in about 3 minutes' time, we will talk some Alabama basketball, as the Crimson Tide will be in action Thursday night. Pregame now set to start at 6:30. And, of course, we are a proud affiliate of the Crimson Tide Sports Network, and we will have that action for you as Alabama will be taking on the winner of Vanderbilt and Georgia. That game you can hear tomorrow night right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. That'll be right after our coverage. Tomorrow afternoon, Alabama scheduled to play UNA in baseball. We're going to have that game for you. That will roll into the first game of the SEC basketball tournament down in Tampa, which features Ole Miss taking on Mizzou. So that is what is on deck. And all of that to say that just breaking about an hour old, Louisiana State University has received a notice of allegations outlining major violations allegedly committed in its men's basketball program under head coach Will Wade. The Athletic was the first to report it, and then it was reported by SI that this is not new, ladies and gentlemen. This is in regards to...
They did a special process, and I was trying to read about the process. I'd never heard of it, and I don't understand, but I'm going to read up where I can do some accurate reporting. They did some process, and they go in front of basically a judge, and then they decide, and it's not appealable.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading.
But by self doing it, it also will limit what their sanctions would be. That's what I understand, but I haven't got that far.
Through LSU, though LSU is not part of the FBI's original findings, trial proceedings later revealed that Wade was recorded on federal wiretap discussing a strong-ass offer.
Which is 4 years old.
He made for Javonte Smart, who ended up signing with LSU, with aspiring agent Christian Dawkins. Dawkins is currently serving an 18-month sentence on bribery and conspiracy charges.
But at this point, LSU can't really lose. Because if he's found, he'll be fired for cause, and they've already given up a lot. Probably have to give up a little bit more. On the football thing, they've already done everything, it looks like. It's going to be interesting because he signed an amendment to his contract that if he gets fired for cause, they don't owe him any money. This was all about money all the time for LSU. having to fire them and having him sue back the university. The NCAA put LSU in a really bad spot.
So that is going on as well. Let's jump out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, talk some Alabama basketball, as the Crimson Tide are a 6th seed, and as we mentioned, they will play the winner of the Vanderbilt-Georgia game, which comes up as the late game tomorrow, as Brian Passink is kind enough to join us. How are you, BP?
Doing great, guys. How are y'all?
Doing real well, and I know it was kind of a rocky road to end the regular season. How would you characterize how it was down the stretch for this regular season, Brian? I think we may have lost Brian right there. Maybe you didn't like that question. Maybe you didn't want to talk about the end of the regular season.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that he did, but
well, we'll get Brian back on and talk some Crimson Tide basketball. And it's a team that is fairly secure in their 5 seed, and at least according to Lenardi, as well as Jerry Palm, they have both said, and who am I to argue, that if they win their first-round matchup, be it against Georgia or Vanderbilt, they will indeed be a 5 seed in Sunday's bracket, which will be released. And, oh, by the way, we do have a bracket challenge for you right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and we'll tweet out the link that you need to follow. But we are again partnering with Charles Barkley and his vodka, Redmont Vodka, which is served at this fine establishment here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Brian, my apologies if I rubbed you the wrong way on that question.
I found that question so offensive. I couldn't take it anymore. I'm very sensitive, guys. I don't know if I told y'all that.
Well, Brian, you watch Alabama play. This is how they're so inconsistent. I mean, and part of the every game you get the Alabama that looks like that should be in the top 10. Then part of the game you'll get the Alabama team that looks like they should be in the top 25. And then some of the game you'll get this team that just turns the ball over and doesn't seem to be very organized for whatever reason. They just fall in holes when they play. But it seems like when Shackelford is on and Quinterly's not turning the ball over and he's on, they're almost unbeatable. To me, tell me what I'm missing.
No, I don't think you're missing anything. This team's inconsistent. I mean, it's fairly simple, I think. I mean, it's hard to fix inconsistency, but they're inconsistent. I think the reason they're inconsistent is a couple of things. This team certainly has flaws, but most teams do. Pretty much all teams do. Even the teams that are going to be 1 seeds and whoever cuts down the net in New Orleans in early April. I mean, every team has flaws. The things that makes this team inconsistent are their flaws are in areas like, for example, defense and taking care of the ball. And those are areas that come and go, and they have all year long. And defensively, this team is not nearly where they were a year ago. A lot of that has to do with Herb Jones. It also has to do with John Petty, who was an excellent defender. Josh Primo, a very good defender. Alex Reese, all those guys gone. Now, this team has the capability to defend better than they have, and that's why, I think you continue to try to get better and grow in the areas that you struggle. Now, offensively, with the exception of turnovers, which obviously is a big part of it, they've been pretty good. I mean, Alabama over the last 20-plus years has only been in the top 10 in offensive efficiency one time, and that was 2005. Last year, they were right around 30. And the reason they were so good and cut down the nets for the regular season and SEC tournament title and went on to the Sweet 16 is because they were the third-ranked defense in the country. And they were very good. The top 30 in offense is good. This team was good offensively. But where they excelled was on the defensive end. And this team is, I think, last time I looked, 85, around mid-80s in defensive efficiency out of 350-plus schools is not awful, but it's not consistent. And so that's where this team has struggled. And also, I'll tell you one thing I look forward to in Tampa later this week is not playing the number 1 and number 2 steals team in the country, because Alabama's last 2 teams that they played were Texas A&M, who is second in the country in steal percentage, and then LSU, who was the only team better in basketball than Texas A&M. They were number 1. So not ideal matchups in the last two games for Alabama, because the area that they struggle in offensively is turning the ball over. And when you're not great defensively, and I don't think anybody thinks this team is great on the defensive end, and you turn the ball over, you're going to have some inconsistencies throughout the game and night to night, because it's really hard to guard in the half court when you play in the SEC and play a tough schedule. But when you're giving it up and you have those live ball turnovers, it's very difficult to defend in transition. And unfortunately, this team has been in that situation quite a bit. But on the flip side, when they do those things very well, they can beat anybody, as they've proven. They've beaten some of the best teams in the country, and I think that gives them confidence going into the postseason.
There is no doubt about that. And at least the guy running the show as well is used to success in the month of March as well, and that has to at least give some fans that are in the know some confidence, as the success that has certainly followed Nate Oates from Buffalo to Alabama.
Yeah, when you look at what Nate Oates has done in the month of March, and then you add in a guy that has had a very good year, but considering how he finished up last year, maybe in his mind he hasn't been as consistent as he would want, and that's Javon Quinterly, the SEC tournament MVP last year. And I think coming back to the SEC tournament, even though it's different location, I think the fact that you did cut down the nets last year and won 3 games in 3 days. This time, if you want to win it, you got to win 4 in 4 days. I think there's some confidence there. And also, I think there's a sense of excitement with this team. And to be fair, with all teams, I mean, when you get to the postseason, it just feels different. It's a one-and-done scenario. You're excited to play in the SEC tournament. You're excited to play in the NCAA tournament. And I think that could really help this team, because when they have that sense of urgency, that no tomorrow feel, that this team plays really well. So I'm hopeful that will be the case in Tampa. And I'll tell you one thing that I've told a lot of my friends who have, they for some reason feel the need to text me after we lose every game and complain. But I love them.
You need a set of friends.
Yeah, I do. I definitely do. Listen, if you guys know anybody, I'm looking at my friend group. But I'll tell you what I tell them, and that is, this is, I've been doing this a long time. This is my 19th year, and this is the first time in 15 years that that back-to-back selection Sundays, I'm definitely happy. Because Alabama, no matter what happens, they look back at the history of this program is very good, but the history up and down. So for you to know that you're going to hear your name called in back-to-back years is something that we haven't had in a long time. And right now, I think Lenardi and Palm have Alabama as a 5 seed. If Alabama's a 5 seed in this tournament, that'll be the first time in over 30 years that you're 5 seed or better in back-to-back seasons. The last time it happened, Wimp Anderson was the coach. So it's been a while. So I'm just not going to be real upset if Alabama's a 5 or 6 seed in the NCAA tournament. I'm going to love it. I can't wait for the tournament to start tomorrow and Thursday. And Selection Sunday, when you hear your name called, is like Christmas Day. So I am fired up about where this program is.
So at least one point of concern I have, Brian, is after the Texas A&M game, there was a long pause in between the end of the game and actually hearing from Coach Oates. In fact, we didn't hear him on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, to which the players retorted of this long moment of silence. Do you think Coach is trying to still get some leaders on that team and moving forward? Does that concern you?
No. I mean, listen. I mean, there are things that are concerning when you play the way that they did. So I'm not going to say that, hey, all is perfect. But first of all, the reason we're from coaches is we, what we've been doing the last 2 years is we take his feed from the press conference. He did his press conference. We just weren't able to stay on the air. And this team has had some disappointing losses this year. And Texas A&M was a big disappointment for these players and coaches. And if he wanted to stay in the locker room for an hour and talk to his guys and get this thing corrected, that's what I wanted. That's what Chris Stewart wanted. And we were able to hear from him. So he's had success with some of these heart-to-heart type meetings with his team. And I'm sure he would have liked to have less this year. But if the head coach felt like that was warranted and needed, then I was all for it. And I'll tell you this, even though the LSU game was disappointing from the standpoint of it being a loss, I was pretty pleased with the effort, with the focus, with the things that this team did against a really good LSU team in a tough environment. I wasn't exactly sure how Alabama was going to respond after the Texas A&M game. And while I was disappointed to lose the game, I was very pleased with the fight that they showed. And it showed me that they're not done yet. And they want to fight for this season and have a chance to make a run in Tampa and then on in the NCAA tournament.
Would it help this team if Georgia is that opponent just for a little payback, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they'll have the attention these Alabama players will have they'll respect whoever they're playing, because look, Georgia beat Alabama. Obviously, that's a motivational factor, but I think they also have the respect of what this Vanderbilt team is, and Vanderbilt was a possession away from beating them, and they're back. They've got one of their top players back. Scottie Pippen Jr. is one of the best point guards in the country. And so I think whoever Alabama plays, they will know that they're going to have to play well to beat them. And so I would expect Vanderbilt, but you never know with this whole Tom Crean situation and Georgia being so close so many times. I mean, look, they beat Alabama's only win of the year, but if they would have made a free throw late against Auburn, they would have beaten Auburn. Texas A&M had a shot at the buzzer to beat them. They were up 15 against South Carolina late in the game. I mean, Georgia has been right there against some of the better teams in the SEC, and obviously they've had a disaster of a year from a winning standpoint, but they are good enough to sneak up on somebody, as I have unfortunately seen firsthand in Athens. But you got to be ready to play conference tournament. These are guys that from a Vanderbilt and Georgia standpoint, have a second chance to make a run. Alabama, even though they're solidly in the NCAA tournament, they want to stay in Tampa for a while as well.
Well, safe travels to Tampa. We'll be listening on Thursday night, 6:30 pregame time there for the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Appreciate you joining us, sir.
Always enjoy it. Appreciate y'all having me.
Brian Passink from the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Let's take our first time out. We're live here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Have you ever found exactly the right new car or truck with the exact features that you want and nothing else? Well, at Woody Anderson Ford, we can promise you just that. Hey, Bobby White back again, and you can now factory order your new Ford today, and you'll get your new car or truck exactly the way you want it. And there's no extra cost to custom order. Plus, you get $1,000 off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates. This applies to 2021 F-150, Explorer, Ranger, and Expedition. It's a win-win with a custom order at Woody Anderson Ford. You get the colors, the features, and the options that fit your life. Plus, you get notified when it's built, shipped, and ready to deliver. Listen, buying a new car or truck is likely the second largest investment you'll ever make. So why settle? Get exactly what you want with a custom factory order today. And get $1,000 off MSRP. See how at WoodyAndersonFord.com or at the corner of Jordan Lane and Sparkman Drive. Hope to see you soon.
Here in the South, we like our traditions, like Alabama football and tailgating on fall Saturdays. And the best way to start your tailgate? Visit Brooks & Collier to see North Alabama's largest selection of premium grills and smokers. Big Green Egg, Blaze, and Traeger. Everything you need for that perfect tailgate. Check out our rubs and seasonings. We have a full wall to please any taste palate. Visit Brooks & Collier at 813 Meridian Street or at brooksandcollier.com. An Alabama tradition for 75 years. Roll Tide.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Back here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill, along with Wes Neighbors. Steve Moulton back here with you. Got time to join us. Feel free to swing on by here at the Furniture Factory. Expecting Wolverine Dan to show up anytime soon. 256-576-4977. He called in this morning. I've been filling in for Scott Tyson this week, who's on assignment. And Dan promised us some Salisbury steak here tonight. I'm not saying, but I'm saying.
Yeah, I wish I'd known that.
So, Jerry Judy, 4 hours ago on Twitter, at Jerry Judy. Oh, we lit. He's fired up. So earlier today, Jerry Judy put out the frown emoji. This after the Aaron Rodgers situation was made public, that he was not going to be a Denver Bronco, but he's fired up now, pending a physical from one Russell Wilson to be a Denver Bronco. So we lit is exactly the tweet from Jerry Judy. Sack-wise, Russell Wilson, sacks. How many times has he been sacked? Let's see here. In 2018, he was sacked 51 times. In 2019, he was sacked 48 times. Well, looky.
Speak of the devil.
In 2020, Russell Wilson was sacked 47 times. Russell Wilson was only sacked 33 times this past season.
Because he didn't play. He was hurt all year.
Yeah.
He got sacked early in the season. He was out for almost the whole year.
Very nice. Miss Ginger and Wolverine Dan are here.
Wearing Detroit Rams.
Yeah, Detroit Rams shirts. Well done. Good to see you both. Yeah, but that health is definitely a factor. We're 10 minutes away from talking with Coach Sonny Smith, part of the Auburn network, as Auburn is not playing until Friday. But certainly a lot to talk about with the former Auburn coach, Sonny Smith. Jeff, who's in the borough, is on line one.
How's it going, Moulton?
Burning the candle on both ends, just like you, brother.
Well, I just want to say, it looks like Jackson State's going to make the tournament. 14 minutes, 14, one lead for Bedlam with about 6.5 to go. Looks like Gamecocks going to make the tournament, isn't it?
Nice.
Looks like the Bellman, the D2 with 10 L's was going to win the tournament. Isn't that dumb? Putting them in the tournament. It's pretty stupid, isn't it? Pretty dumb. But the A-Suns are pretty dumb tournament. They don't know what they're doing. So, like the OVC, they're going to put it in the tournament and let them win it. And, pretty stupid. That's all right. But, I wouldn't do it if they was D2 school getting to my conference. They would be in the tournament till the time's up. So they'd be on it for 4 years or whatever the time is.
Bellarmine's a darn good program.
Well, they don't need to be in the tournament, though, do they? They're D2 to transition. They don't need to be in the tournament, do they?
If they qualify and they're good enough, then they deserve to be in the tournament.
Yeah, but they got a 4-year transition period. They can't be in the tournament. They can't be in. That's just it. They're transition from D2
That's
to
right.
D1.
Yeah. But they are still eligible to participate. That is part of the rules.
Well, if I was commissioner, they wouldn't participate. I don't care what the rules say. It's my conference. I do what I want to do. I don't want to deal with the NCAA says. I do what I want to do.
Hey, Jeff.
Neighbors, I want to let you know something, neighbors.
Did
you,
Jeff.
Hold on, Jeff.
Wolverine Dan has something to say to you.
Hey, Jeff, they give us a hard time on some other show, whatever. But you know what I'm talking about. And I tell you,
I know what you're talking about.
Jeff, I'll tell you what, you're fine. I mean, I think you speak quite well. I just think you've got a raspy voice. And then it's not like an average voice that you hear, but you're intelligent, you've got good takes. I think these people are a little shallow as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that's fine. How's your Wolverines doing? They going to be able to make the tournament?
Well, we got to win the Big Ten probably, right?
Is he going to punch somebody out before they get the tournament? Or he going to punch somebody out?
I don't know, dude. To be honest with you, I haven't been watching them much. And they even beat Ohio State, and I didn't even know it. Just my wife told me. I'm knee deep or neck deep with all the work around my house, so I don't.
Well, I didn't know. I thought maybe him and Harbaugh might go 15 rounds to see who the best coach is. Best boxing thing to do that.
Harbaugh spoke with the media today.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spring.
Did he have
But I
khakis
just
on?
want to ask you something, neighbor. What do you think about the tournament? What do you think about the tournament being in Florida? Moulton says it ought to be in Nashville. I told Moulton it don't matter if it's Florida or North Dakota. He wouldn't go anyway. So what do you think? You think it ought to be in Nashville?
I don't.
I'm a little busier right now, but
well, here's the thing. I think they ought to go different places. I don't know if Tampa's the right area because it's not near the. There's no team near Tampa, right? I guess Florida's kind of close.
Gainesville,
That'd be my only thing. But heck, if I can go to Tampa, it's a hell of a lot better than Indianapolis. That's all I'll say.
Amen, brother. Amen, brother.
Well, my Moulton wants it in Nashville in the championship game in Atlanta, so he wants permanent sites. So y'all disagree on that. So
I like moving around. I think in football, the SEC has been really nice in the SEC championship game being in Georgia because it's such they have the hotel rooms. It's a central location.
Yeah.
But I don't know how safe Atlanta is right now, and I think that they need to think about that. I wouldn't mind moving a little bit around. I wouldn't mind playing in Nashville for the football.
Well, if they get a dome stadium like they are proposing, then
let me ask you one final question. Do you think they should play the Fowls on Saturday night or Sunday? What do you think?
What do you think about that? I think it should be Saturday. I do. I think it ought to be Saturday too.
It's all about the day of the bracket, the selection show, just a full day of basketball, ending with the selection show.
Calipari's been wanting for years, but
I kind of agree. Yeah, because
Sankey's like the Rose Bowl. He ain't gonna budge. So he's one of the worst commissioners in college sports. He ain't gonna budge like the Rose Bowl. But y'all hang in there, guys. See y'all.
Right,
thank you, Jeff.
The Rose Bowl is
love how he tries to stir it up. But I really enjoyed Jeff's phone calls.
Well, I think I've enjoyed this one because he made you think.
Just got a text back from Dick Vitale. If you haven't heard, the news came out today that he is officially cancer-free.
That's unbelievable.
And so he said, appreciate you reaching out. Fantastic news. Been working hard. Now the next stop is me actually flapping my gums so my wife will get sick of me talking. So that's fantastic news to hear from Dick Vitale. Let's take our final time out. We'll continue to talk some hoops on the other side. Sonny Smith from the Auburn Network next.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
They're about to award the SEC Tournament Championship trophy.
Starting Wednesday, March 9th, join us all week long as the SEC Radio Network brings you complete coverage of the 2022 SEC Men's Basketball Tournament. Live from town.
Puts it up through contact, count the bucket, and one more. Three for the lead. Bingo. Back the other way. The lob in the jam. Bedlam on the floor.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders, and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Our customers trust us not only to find the right hardware, but to advise them on the technology that makes them more efficient.
My Next Level team researches and discovers real solutions. Check-in software, HR, digital signature, and workflow software. It saves you money immediately. We hold your hand and stay with you through the transition.
We're taking our customers to the next level in business process automation.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Redmont Vodka and Vulcan Gin, Alabama-made premium quality spirits, owned by our very own Charles Barkley. 8 times distilled, gluten-free, and non-GMO. Whether you choose to sip Redmont on the rocks or blend it with your favorite mixers, you will definitely be able to taste the difference. Pick up some Redmont Vodka and Vulcan Gin today. Available in ABC stores and package stores. For more information, visit us at RedmontDistilling.com. Also, follow us on Instagram at Redmont Distilling. Support local, enjoy responsibly.
I love overpriced stuff. Avocados, designer t-shirts, artisanal water. That's why I get my internet from the other guys. Paying more for the same stuff. What could be better?
Wow is better. For just $19.99 a month, we give you the super fast, extra reliable internet you need. Act now before this deal is gone. Internet 100 for just $19.99 a month. Plus, learn how to get up to $300 on us. Sign up at Huawei.com. Wow. Limited to new customers with auto pay and paperless billing. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Offer subject to change. Restrictions and terms apply.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Mostly dry this afternoon, though sitting under a mostly cloudy sky. Temperatures climbing only into the mid and upper 50s. Another round of widespread rain moves into the Tennessee Valley as we head into the evening, the overnight, and through the earliest part of Wednesday morning. A mostly cloudy sky through Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures only climbing into the low and mid 50s. Dropping into the mid and upper 30s as we head into the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Thursday. Temperatures hanging out in the low and mid 60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Basketball was originated in America in 1891.
Filling out and busting brackets since the 1970s.
Let this be a reminder to you all that this organization will not tolerate failure.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Technically, the heat is on out here on the patio here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill, and thank goodness. Cause,
it's comfortable, but it's cold outside.
Yeah, that cold front certainly moving through right now. We are dry out on the patio because it is a covered patio. So come on by as we head out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, talk a little basketball with the man himself. He is the Hall of Famer. He is Sonny Smith from the Auburn Network. How are you, Coach?
Doing great. How are you guys?
Doing real well. What a magical season this has been for Bruce Pearl.
Oh, no question about it. Outstanding coach. Great with selling the program. Great with recruiting. He's done it everywhere he's been, but I think he's found his place that he wants to be right here.
Does Jabari Smith remind you of anybody that you've seen on the college level?
No, I only had one player that was similar to him in skills, but he's Chris Morris was his name. Played 10 or 12 years in the NBA, but Chris was not as smooth as Jabari, and Jabari doesn't jump as well as Chris did. But that's the only athlete that I had that was similar to that. I had a Russian out of the Russian Olympic team that played for me that was very similar to these guys, and he's still playing in Russia at 35, 36 years old, something like that. And,
jeez. Wow. I'm also amazed at the depth of this team too. It's not just feed Jabari, which I couldn't hardly blame Bruce Pearl if that was the game plan of just feed Jabari, but it's Walker Kessler in the paint as well, and having that type of rim protector. What does that do for a basketball team, Coach?
Well, I think having a rim protector like we got makes people attack you different. On teams that are going to take it all the way to the basket, they kind of ease up on that. They try to get in and kick out. Changes the way that people play in a lot of different ways. They know that they got to set up their offense more for the jump shot than they do for the layup. And unless they run, and what everybody tries to do is put your big guy in the running game so that he'd be affected, and it hadn't happened because Walker he runs so well for a 7-footer, and that kind of takes away another game plan. Don't play against their half-court defense is what I'm basically saying, and they try to put him in a situation we got to defend full court. And he's worked out really well in that area. He's one of the better, to stand on one side of the rim and block shots on the other, as anybody that I've seen. He controls the rim on both sides, and I haven't seen many guys that could do that. And, of course, he's 7 foot tall. It should be an easy thing, but it's not really. He's got good footwork for a big 7-footer.
Talking with Coach Sonny Smith right now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, and another kid that I really like, and I can see being a kind of a March specialist, a Chuma Okeke type, if you will, is Jalen Williams. And he just feels like he's a big-time player playing big at the biggest times.
Are you speaking of Jalen Williams?
Yes, sir.
He has a kind of a complete game. He can make the outside catch and shoot. He can get into the lane and nice jump hook action he's got in there. He's a very good defender. He's a smart defender. He's actually sometimes better on the help side than he is on defending his man. He's a very smart basketball player, and he's been a big help to this Auburn team.
Well, what a change from last year to this year, Coach, of just I realize talent is definitely ramped up, but considering where this program was a year ago at this time, it's almost 180 degrees.
Well, it's a big difference. I think the big difference is depth. This team has a really good depth. This team also has players that are fitted, I guess would be the word, for the position that they play. In other words, they got people that are 3 men that play the 3, people that are 2 men that play the 2, and sometimes you've got to manufacture those people, if you know what I'm saying. Having guys playing out of position to play them, but he has guys that are position players playing their position, and I think that's really important in today's game, especially since it's more of an outside perimeter attacking type situation instead of throwing it inside and throwing it out like we used to do. You always would tack inside first, outside second. It's not that way anymore.
So you talked about what you used to do. What about the game today do you think that could be better by some of maybe the old rules? What do you miss about the old rules of basketball?
Well, set plays. People don't run sets anymore, set plays. Set plays that would take advantage of the set on both sides of the floor. They'll run one-side sets and fall into motion. Some people would run sets that go to both sides of the floor. That's basically the only difference that I see. There's more dribble, drive, and kick. There's more high ball screens now than there used to be, but that's basically the only difference. You don't see a lot of set play action. You see it on out of timeouts. You see it on out of bounds plays, basically. But once they get that one set cut, they flow right into a form of motion or a form of dribble action that will try to get into the gaps and make things happen from that. But the big thing and the biggest change in basketball is spacing. The three-point line has made everybody play with 6 feet between each guy or more. So that one guy can't guard 2. if that makes any sense. They space themselves properly. They move the ball, makes the pass a little sharper, and I think the way they attack today is perfect for the style of basketball we have.
Coach, if there is kind of one common denominator amongst the top four, is how well they played at home compared to on the road, and that to me makes this SEC tournament really hard to predict with this neutral floor in Tampa.
I think so. I tell you what, the difficulty of this league this year was everybody was good. There was not a bad team in the league. So you couldn't stay at home and say, I'm going to win all these games, but you couldn't go on the road and say, I'm going to do this, do that, because it was a difficult game almost every place that you went on the road. And I think it showed that the league had great balance, much better players from top to bottom than they'd had in a few years. And I think a team coming out of this league has already had some really tough competition to deal with, and it should make them better in the NCAA playoffs and the conference finals tournaments.
Well, Coach, I did tell you when we were down there for the Auburn-Alabama game that I did pick up your book, but I have yet to read it. That is still the case.
Hey,
so
me too. I haven't read it either.
Yeah, see, that's exactly where I was going. I was going to ask you if you've read the book yet, Coach.
Hey, a guy was sitting with me. He sat me down for 2 or 3 hours and talked to me, and I let him write the book after that. So I know what I talked about. I hope he put it in there the way I talked about it. That's about it. Hey, so, as a salesman, I'd say it'd be a good read.
Talking with Coach Sonny Smith. So, Coach, that'd be a train coming by here at the Furniture Factory here in the background. But the title of the book, Winning the Head Game. So what is the key to winning that head game, Coach?
Well, what it is, it was motivational sayings, motivational situations. That's basically what we wrote a little bit at first so people would kind of know who Sonny Smith was out of the mountains of East Tennessee. A little bit about me, but from that point on, it became a motivational type book. We had motivational sayings, we had motivational situations, how to deal with certain things, and I suppose I haven't seen any figures on it, but I think it's gone real well. We gave all of the proceeds from the book to the young ladies from the Talladega girls' school that died in an auto accident over on 85. And it might have been 65. I'm not sure, but we gave all the proceeds to them, and I hope that it's gone real. Don't fool with the money from it. I sent it right to them.
Wow! What a fantastic cause right there, Coach. And have you had a chance to catch up with Wimp lately?
No, my health's a lot better. I don't see him anymore. He still has a radio show, fellas. I guess you know Barry, his son Barry, and I talk to him on it every week. We still jump on there and cut each other up. We're close friends. We always will be. But the thing that we don't get together like we used to. We used to have a lot of clubs to speak to and a lot of quarterback clubs and things like this. Well, those things, COVID kind of put the speakers out of business, so we don't get to do that. And we were together a lot when we did that, much more than we are today.
Well, hopefully that'll crank back up here sooner rather than later, but safe travels to you. Any particular matchup that you're looking forward to down in Tampa? Maybe
Hey, anybody playing Florida. I worry more about Florida than I do about the kind of club that could upset people. I worry that may sound a little crazy because they don't have my worries they're not backed up by stats. But I worry about Florida. I really do. I think they could go a long way and they could hurt a lot of people who think they could beat them. But there's others like that too. LSU is another one. You can't. On one night they could play like UCLA used to play, and other nights they played like. They're not UCLA. I started to think what I was going to say there.
I was wondering.
We call that maturity.
Yeah, you guys have heard me before. Normally I would have said what I was thinking, wouldn't I? Don't do that anymore. Don't do that anymore.
Coach, it's always great to catch up with you. Best to you and your wife moving forward. We're certainly thinking about your wife, and so best moving forward, and please let your wife know we're thinking about her.
Thank you. I'm always glad to be on with you guys. Thanks for having me. I'm here when you need me. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Coach. That is Sonny Smith, and again, the title of the book is Winning the Head Game. So that's why I went there. I mean, I bought it during Christmas, and so when we went down for the Auburn-Alabama game, it's literally like 30 minutes before tip, and I lean over to Coach and said, "Hey, Coach, I got your book. I haven't read it yet." And then he says,
Neither have I.
Neither have I.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. That's Sonny Smith there. He is a treasure. There is no doubt about that. And always great to talk to the former Auburn coach, who incidentally made the tournament 6 times in his tenure, 5 with Auburn, 1 at VCU. 2 different stints at VCU, but made the tournament in 1996. But that time at Auburn from 84 to 88, making the NCAA tournament every year, including an Elite 8 run back in 1986.
What happened? I guess I need to get the book.
I need to read it. He went from Auburn to VCU, so I don't know the answer to that question.
Huh.
He started out at East Tennessee State.
Which is the East Tennessee guy.
Yep. And went from there to Auburn. Actually started out as an assistant at William and Mary. Got to know both Bill and Mary. Then moved on to be an assistant at Pepperdine, then an assistant at Virginia Tech before his first head coaching job at East Tennessee State, going from East Tennessee to Auburn and then VCU. Well, in case you haven't noticed, there's been a little bit of news regarding the National Football League. Just a little bit. And we will talk some NFL on the other side of this Sports Center update with John McClain, who's been covering the NFL for over 4 decades for the Houston Chronicle. That is next.
Have you ever found exactly the right new car or truck with the exact features that you want and nothing else? Well, at Woody Anderson Ford, we can promise you just that. Hey, Bobby White back again, and you can now factory order your new Ford today, and you'll get your new car or truck exactly the way you want it. And there's no extra cost to custom order. Plus, you get $1,000 off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates. This applies to 2021 F-150, Explorer, Ranger, and Expedition. It's a win-win with a custom order at Woody Anderson Ford. You get the colors, the features, and the options that fit your life. Plus, you get notified when it's built, shipped, and ready to deliver. Listen, buying a new car or truck is likely the second largest investment you'll ever make. So why settle? Get exactly what you want with a custom factory order today. And get $1,000 off MSRP. See how at WoodyAndersonFord.com or at the corner of Jordan Lane and Sparkman Drive. Hope to see you soon.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Sports Center.
Hello there. I'm Mark Robbins. So I've got so much NFL news to talk about. Feels like November, not March. The blockbuster trade happened this afternoon. Seattle trading quarterback Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos for 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, quarterback Drew Lock, tight end Noah Fant, and a D-lineman Shelby Harris. ESPN front office insider Mike Tannenbaum says this is a win for both sides.
If you look at Denver, we're a win-now team. We got Jerry Jeudy and Noah Fant, Tim Patrick, Devontae Williams, and now now we got a quarterback to compete with Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, and Joe Burrow. I mean, could you imagine trying to run a team in the AFC right now? Like, the bar is so high if you don't have a quarterback. And I think if you're, Seattle, if you're being honest and sober about where you are, guys, you're in a rebuild.
That's ESPN front office insider Mike Tannenbaum on Bart and Hahn a little earlier here on ESPN Radio. By the way, the Seahawks also sent a fourth-round pick to Denver along with Russell Wilson. And that deal puts Aaron Rodgers and the Packers on the back burner a bit. Rodgers announcing today he's going to play next season with Green Bay, his 18th with the Packers. Green Bay, meanwhile, putting the franchise tag on wide receiver Devontae Adams. Tampa Bay puts the tag on injured wideout Chris Godwin. College basketball, Bellarmine College just won the Atlantic Sun Conference tournament, and because the Knights are transitioning from Division II, just in their second year of that, ineligible for the NCAA tournament, so the A-Sun bid goes to Jacksonville State.
.97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Back here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill, along with Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton back here with you. There is a ton to get into with our next guest, who's been covering the National Football League for over 4 decades. So let's head directly out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. John McClain is kind enough to join us. You can follow John on Twitter at McClain_on_NFL. How are you, John?
Guys, I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing very well. Let's start with Art Briles. Just give me a pulse on your read on that whole situation of what happened at Grambling.
Of everything going on in football today, Art Briles is the last thing I thought I was going to be asked about. Hugh Jackson had tried to hire him when he was in Cleveland. There was such an uproar created by the media and fans against him. Hugh Jackson backed away. June Jones, former NFL coach, was the head coach 2 years ago, the Hamilton Tiger Cats. He hired Briles for a day. There was such an uproar in Canada, he didn't make it to a second day. Mississippi State tried to hire him one time, and there's just such an uproar created by fans and media. Schools pull away. I don't know why they do it to begin with, because they know what's going to happen. The only place he's been able to get a second chance was at a small school up in East Texas where there's no major media outlet, and yet all the major papers in Texas, ESPN, everybody blasted that school for hiring him, but they kept him for a couple of years. He also coached in Italy. So I don't think Art Briles will ever coach in college again or pros. I think the only place he could coach, and he's 66, and he is a great coach, would be at another high school, probably in a big state like Texas.
Was he ever charged with sexual assault?
No, he was never charged. That was never the issue. The issue was that I'll tell you as a Baylor alum, the new Art here at the University of Houston, then at Baylor, there would be people, charges, and he'd tell people to take care of it, handle it. He wanted to coach. They didn't handle it. And the rapes and the allegations and the assaults just piled up. Baylor did a terrible job with Title IX. And there's been, as a Baylor alum, and I'm not condoning anything he did, but there have been so many other cases of sexual assaults, but you don't hear the outcry from, say, ESPN or other national media outlets the way you do Baylor and Art Briles. And so that's why I think Art, who left, I believe, got a $15 million settlement from Baylor, but it was a lack of institutional control. And, of course, Baylor lost a lot of money and that they had to pay. They also paid out a lot of settlements. They still have cases that are ongoing during that period, but fortunately, if you're a Baylor fan, it bounced back under Matt Rule, now Dave Aranda.
No doubt. It just seems like he's been, for whatever reason, I think it's unfair the way he's treated. I just don't get it. Well, unless he tried to actually cover something up.
Yeah, I can't, truth is, it's been so long. So covering something up, yeah, he tried to cover stuff up. There was a lot of things Baylor tried to cover up until some of the women went public anonymously, and then they put their names on it. You had a lot of people come out and talk about what happened to them, and it was reprehensible, what went on, what Baylor allowed to go on, and a lot of people got fired, including some good assistant coaches who didn't deserve it, and now a lot of them have resurfaced around the country, different jobs, and doing very well.
Indeed. Well, there is plenty of news to talk about just in the past 24 hours around the National Football League. Which one intrigues you more? Is it Aaron Rodgers collecting money, or Russell Wilson moving, or a player getting suspended for a year for gambling?
You know who's happy about what happened today? It's Calvin Ridley. Because instead of all the talk shows writing and talking about him, they're talking about the Russell Wilson trade, Aaron Rodgers staying in Green Bay. I've told every show I've been on for 2 years that Rodgers would be back with the Packers. It's all about the money. It all began after the 2020 season when his agent went to Green Bay, met with Brian Gutekunst, the GM, couldn't get an extension, went home. All of a sudden it was leaked to Adam Schefter. He wanted out of Green Bay, or he's going to retire, creating a huge controversy that raged up until training camp when he stayed. And then this year, I told everybody he's going to get a big new contract, and he has, and he deserves it. Now that they don't have to worry about him leaving, they can start wondering if he's ever going to get to a second Super Bowl, because he hasn't been to one since 2010. He and Brett Favre have both won one each. And as far as Russell Wilson, Seattle, I'm shocked. I knew Seattle wanted a quarterback. That Denver wanted a quarterback because the Broncos were one of the teams most seriously interested in Deshaun Watson. And like the others, they all backed away when the civil lawsuits started to pile up a year ago. And Russell Wilson had said multiple times, I'm staying in Seattle. I don't want to be traded. Pete Carroll said at the Combine last week, it's not our intent to trade him. And a lot of people read into that, correctly so, that it didn't mean he wouldn't be traded. Now, you get three players, one of whom is real good, tight end Noah Fant, and then you get 2 1s, 2 2s, and a 5, and you trade Wilson and a 4. I'll guarantee you, Pete Carroll at 70 is not going to rebuild. He's got some old players on there, left tackle Dwayne Brown, linebacker Bobby Wagner, who are in their mid-30s, and they're trying to re-sign them. That's not a rebuild. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if Seattle didn't become a player in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. And they could keep Drew Lock as a backup. They could keep Shelby Morris, defensive lineman, and just give up Noah Fant, the 2 1s and the 2 2s, and the Texans do that deal in a heartbeat. Now, Watson still has the 22 civil suits hanging over his head. Prosecutor is taking evidence to the grand jury Friday. The grand jury may rule Friday, or maybe a week or two, until they decide, do they want to file charges. If they file charges, then there's a good chance he may not play next season. And if they don't file charges and the investigations end, Watson still has to reach settlement with his 22 accusers, or wait to go to court with them. And so maybe they're a little closer to a solution, but he's still got a long way to go. And when it comes to trades, it's Deshaun Watson or Jimmy Garoppolo coming off surgery on his throwing shoulder.
Wow. That's a lot of info there to swallow. And I guess the other big story during this offseason has been the lawsuit brought by Brian Flores. And where do you think that stands moving forward?
First of all, I think that Brian Flores, I thought he would never work in the NFL again. And I tell people, if I work for the Houston Chronicle, it's owned by the Hearst Corporation. If I were suing the Hearst Corporation, the Houston Chronicle would not hire me. I work for a station here, the Texans flagship Sports Radio 610. If I were suing the parent company, Odyssey, I'm doubting they would hire me. And yet the Steelers did. More power to the Steelers. But, you're talking about a coach who filed his suit, who claims his owner was going to give him $100,000 to lose games, serious charges. Flores and his attorney say he has evidence of that, and they will turn it over to the NFL for their investigation. Now, they better have text messages, emails, phone calls, letters, something. But and if they do, there's a good chance the NFL could force them to sell. If they did that, and it is in their bylaws that they can do it, they would have to have 3/4 majority to pull that off. And he might try to sell it ahead of time, like Jerry Richardson did at Carolina, so he didn't get investigated. And right now, the Broncos are going for $4.5 billion. And so if he did decide to sell Miami, he could get $4 billion, I'm pretty sure, although he doesn't need the money. But those are serious accusations. And at a time when the NFL is getting $300 million from gambling, with projections of $1 billion a year in a few years, you do not want people thinking that you could be losing on purpose. You don't want people thinking there are more Calvin Ridleys out there who might have bet against their team. And Calvin Ridley, every time when he comes back, he drops a pass in the end zone or he fumbles. People are going to think that it has something to do with gambling because he's got that stigma. And the reason the NFL is so harsh, they got to set an example. And he's the example.
There's no question they have to set an example. It's I'm still mind-boggled by what you just said. The NFL will make $1 billion off gambling
in 1 year. Only $300 million next year, but eventually it's going to be $1 billion.
How do they make the money off gambling? I guess because it's going to be at their stadiums.
They have deals. They have deals with all these casinos, with FanDuels and all those companies. And think about it. Right now, if you're an NFL owner, before you sell a ticket or a beer or parking or a jersey, you get $300 million a year just from TV. So your expenses are covered. So then everything else is gravy. And you divide, say, $1 billion by 32. Wes, you went to Alabama. You can figure that up. I can't. I went to Baylor. So you take out how much that is. Now the owners will have to give some of that to the league, but they're going to make that plus TV, plus tickets and everything else. And you wonder why multi-billionaires line up to get NFL franchises when they're available. It doesn't happen very often.
Who gets? Has Roger Goodell made the NFL better since he took over, in your opinion?
Oh, my God, yes. Look where it is. Look how many people watch the Super Bowl. Look at the value of the franchise. Goodell's making $63 million a year. Most of it is in bonuses. He gets a bonus based on how much TV revenue is on the new TV deal. And if they have a collective bargaining agreement, they don't miss games like baseball, he gets more money. Now he's negotiating a new contract. Because when you think of the billions and billions they're bringing in, his little paltry $63 million, he deserves more than that. Not to mention all the slings and arrows he takes that are directed at him. He takes that for the owners. So yes, the NFL right now dwarfs every other sport. You put them all together, they still are a pimple on an elephant's butt when compared to the NFL.
It's the truth. It's the truth. Talking with John McClain right now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, and because there was at least a little blip on the radar a couple of years ago with the kneeling and the television viewership going down, but that feels like it's about 20 years ago rather than a couple of years ago, John.
Remember when that was going to be the ruination of the NFL? Nobody would watch. What about the concussion? You had the concussion controversy. You had the Will Smith movie Concussion coming out with all these people predicting parents would pull their kids out of football, and the football wagon keeps rolling on.
It really does. And the next wagon of enrollees was officially announced, and I always like to get the pulse of the room, since you are in the room, about this year's class, from Tony Baselli to, I was glad to see Sam Mills make the list. Put me in the room there with this particular class, John.
It's pretty obvious that the 49 members wanted to take care of the people who had waited. No first-time eligible player was voted in. I thought DeMarcus Ware was a lock. I think he'll get in next year. And Sam Mills was about to go into what we call the swamp, the senior pool. And so we put him in. I thought Tony Baselli for 5 years was as good as any left tackle in NFL history, not named Anthony Munoz, and he was close to Anthony Munoz. And so I was glad to see Richard Seymour get in from the Patriots. The Patriots, their dynasty, they had one player on defense during those Super Bowl dynasty, and that was Ty Law. Obviously, he didn't do it by himself. And Bryant Young from the 49ers. 49ers had Ronnie Lott, Fred Dean, who wasn't there for all of them. And that defense won 5 Super Bowls, and I was glad Bryant Young won it. It's not sexy without a skill position player, but I thought they all deserved it. We have information available to us that the public does not. And once I'm also on the seniors committee and the coach committee. The senior was Cliff Branch, Coach Dick Vermeil. The contributor was Art McNally, longtime official and supervisor of officials. Once they were nominated by the committee, we rubber stamped them. So we knew they were going in. I always feel bad, like Cliff Branch. He died 2 years ago. I wish that we had put him in when he was still alive.
I was honestly, I did a double take when I saw Dick Vermeil's name just on the list of possible candidates. I didn't realize that he wasn't in yet with was it that long gap in between the Eagles and Rams, and what held him up?
First of all, we just created a coach category 5 years ago. Coaches have gone up against players, and that hurts. Unless you are a lock, one of the all-time greats. You know, if you're competing against a player, the player's going in most of the time. So I was happy when we created that category. The coach that I'd like to see get in next year is Buddy Parker. And Buddy Parker did something, and think about this. There was a time in the 50s when the Lions were actually good. And they won 2 championships under Buddy Parker. And if you can win championships with the Detroit Lions, you ought to be in the Hall of Fame.
I agree totally. That's no word has been spoken any better.
There is no doubt about that. You mentioned about DeMarcus Ware. Who else is on your radar in 2023?
First-time eligibles are Joe Thomas. He'll be a lock. Brown's great left tackle. Darrelle Revis, great corner. I think he'll go in on the first ballot. The one I'm most interested in is Texans receiver Andre Johnson. He was first eligible. I presented him. He made the cut from 15 finalists down to 10. Did not make the cut from 10 to 5. Everybody that made the cut from 10 to 5 is in the Hall of Fame. And so I'm hoping next year he'll get it. But it gets harder and harder every year because so many players come out and they've got gaudy statistics. You know, as receivers and quarterbacks, the game has changed so much to allow them to have gaudy statistics because the rules, they can't be treated the ways they used to be treated. And that's like we always say, is a guy who has 100 catches for 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns better than the guy who had 75 catches for 900 yards and 10 touchdowns when he could be beaten up all over the field, shots to his head from a padded forearm, knees taken out, anything you wanted to do to that guy. Hit him beyond 10 yards, anything. And we have to weigh those situations, and sometimes it's difficult.
You filling out a bracket, and are you going to aim for the repeat there for your Baylor Bears?
I wish I could, but Baylor's it's amazing. They lost 4 starters, and Scott Drew is doing an even better coaching job this year. They lost their big man, Jonathan Chamwa Joshua, for the season. They've lost their leading scorer. He's been out for the last 10 to 15 games, and they only play 7 guys, but they've played very, very well, and they've adjusted. So I don't think they're good enough to win it all. I'd like to see them get to another Final Four, but it's been another fun season, and I'm really looking forward to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I watched that crossover and in that loss at Alabama, and I felt like getting you on right after that because of the up and down year it's been in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, Baylor at one point went 3-3 after I think it was a 18-0 start, and that's when the injuries hit them. But then they changed some guys around. Scott Drew did, and he's totally changed the way they play offense and defense in the middle of the season. And right now, they just came off victories over Kansas and Texas and Kansas and Iowa State. So now they're getting ready for the Big 12 tournament.
What do you think the future of the Big 12 looks like with eventually Texas and Oklahoma moving over to the SEC?
Well, first of all, it's going to be a better basketball conference without them, with the addition of Houston and Cincinnati. BYU's no slouch either. I'm not sure about Central Florida. And when I was watching them consider expanding the playoffs in college football, and they were going to go up, 12? Is that what they were considering?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I asked my listeners on my shows here in Texas, in Houston, Waco, and San Antonio, I said, so how much would they have to expand for the Longhorns to get in the playoffs? 64? 68? That's what I think about the Longhorns. And I think, like, I used to hear that when Arkansas came to the SEC, they tried to come back to the Big 12 because they were getting pounded. They couldn't recruit like they always did when they were in the Southwest Conference. And then Baylor was always worried about getting kicked out if they took Arkansas back, which was why Baylor spent millions and millions on facilities and buildings, offices for coaches. And so Texas can't win the Big 12. Wait till the Longhorns get over there and start getting pounded. They'll tell every team what to do. They'll try to run the SEC media days. They try to run everything except on Saturdays when they can't run at all. Now, Oklahoma, who knows without Lincoln Riley how they're going to do. But right now, as far as I'm concerned, it's good riddance. The Aggies didn't want them coming over there. They didn't want to be with the Longhorns. But considering the way Jimbo Fisher's recruiting, I think he should be glad for a chance to play the Longhorns every year again. Some friends of mine said they should play on Thanksgiving like they traditionally did here. And I said, well, that'd be stupid because you'd have the Aggies playing like the 3-6 Longhorns, play them early in the season while Texas is 0-0, or they beat up on a couple of patsies to start 2-0.
Yeah, that's exactly what they need to do. They need to play like the second game of the year.
So you're not on Team Stark? Is this what I'm hearing from you?
No.
John, it's all...
he may wish he's back at Alabama as the offensive coordinator after what happened to him this year. I'm sure he went home and told his family, this is not what I bargained for.
Well, so have there been any monkey sightings lately?
Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy!
Yeah. Now we had a lot of fun with that one.
Well, they say there was a monkey till a freeze a couple years ago that they left on the green over in the on the.
If you Google them, you'll see the coach's wife and her monkey in action. And as I told people, if the Longhorns operated with the efficiency of the pole dancer and the monkey, the Longhorns would win 2-3 more games.
Bill O'Brien, are you surprised he's still in Tuscaloosa?
No, I think, and I'll tell you this, I know there was a lot of criticism, Bill. He ran too much, didn't run enough, but no doubt he did a great job with Bryce Young. And he's got him back, chance to win another Heisman. And Sean Watson always credited O'Brien with how much he helped him develop as a quarterback. And I don't know if Jacksonville was interested or not, but there's not a better place to rejuvenate your career than Tuscaloosa. And so people thought with Josh McDaniels leaving New England that Bill Belichick would bring him back. Do you know what? I'm not so sure. I wouldn't rather stay with Nick Saban another year and see if I had more options. And obviously that's happened. I was happy for Doug Marrone. I like Doug a lot too.
John, it's always a pleasure, always entertaining, and thank you so much for your availability and your insight. Thank you so much, sir.
Stephen West, thank you guys very much as well. Anytime. I always enjoy coming on with you guys.
Thank you,
Thanks,
John. You can follow John on Twitter at McClain_on_NFL, the poll assassin. Once again, stealing the headlines of that interview.
Reality is so much better than anything we can make up.
So keep in mind, when John tells you to Google that, don't do it on the work computer. All right? Do that on your home computer. So just trying to help out. That's a public service announcement from your friends here at 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Poll assassin should not be on your work computer. Let's take our first time out. And we got a Buddy Parker reference, too. How about that?
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Hey, this is Justin with the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. We'd like to invite you to North Alabama's premier patio bar and grill, where at the factory, we have something going on each and every night. Monday night, steak night. Tuesday night, karaoke. Wednesday night, the Jeep community comes out for Jeep Jam. Thursday, it's bike night, the biggest in the valley. Friday and Saturday, live concerts on our 4,000 square foot patio, along with drink specials and a beautiful staff. What are you waiting on? We will see you at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis. price. Conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, Managing Partner at University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Madison Academy football. Stop into the University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com to view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see you in a Kia. Go Mustangs!
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed precision overhead garage door service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
March means basketball, and nothing goes better with basketball than Bad Daddy's Burgers. And this Friday with our Zone deal, you can get $50 worth of Bad Daddy's Burger Bar goodness for half price, just $25. Bad Daddy's is the place for chef-inspired burgers, giant chopped salads, and craft beer. Enjoy the madness with some half-priced badness. Get your Bad Daddy's half-price Zone deal this Friday online at 977ESPN.com.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is your big game headquarters all fall long. And with our new fall features, every day is game day at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Try our pregame starters, including our homemade onion strings, always fresh hot lips, and our all-new Buffalo Dippin' Chicken appetizer. Our main events include incredible chicken, fish, and shrimp selections, always featuring local Alabama Gulf seafood. And don't forget our Sunday Blitz, 11 to 6. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
The PGA Tour's Corn Ferry Tour is coming to the Rocket City. Join us at the Ledges for the inaugural Huntsville Championship, April 29th through May 2nd. Experience the beauty and drama of the course firsthand. Witness golf's rising stars chase their PGA Tour dreams. Cheer on the future of golf up close and personal. Tickets are on sale now at HuntsvilleChampionship.com.
Back here with you at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill, recovering from our interview with John McClain. If you'd like to be a part of the program, you can do so. Incidentally, this show today here, last full show of the week, but on Thursday we will be live for an hour and a half. It'll be Drew DeArmond filling in for me. I'll be on the road with UAH basketball as the first round of the NCAA tournament for the Chargers comes up on Saturday. They are the 7th seed, and they will take on the Buccaneers of Berry University in a game that you'll be able to hear right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. So tomorrow, weather pending. Right now it's a mess outside, but hopefully it'll dry up tomorrow afternoon in Tuscaloosa for Alabama to take on UNA, and that will lead right into day one coverage of the SEC basketball tournament. And we'll also figure out who Alabama is going to be playing Thursday night, as it will be either Vanderbilt or Georgia. 256-576-4977. The telephone number. Dan in Madison kicks us off here in this segment. How are you, Dan?
I'm good, Steve. By the way, I need to talk to the owner of the station, hint, because I'm tired of you taking days off.
So, how many days have I taken off?
Hopefully you get mileage per diem.
Well, the good news is the fine folks at UIH are letting me tag along with them for the trip.
No. Great experience. Fantastic. But the second thing I just say is I'm supposed to walk into a movie, so I apologize, guys. But John McClain, earlier, didn't he say that he was on the coaches committee for the Hall of Fame?
He is.
Well, why didn't Wes ask about Jerry Glanville?
Because Jerry Glanville didn't win the Super Bowl. Hey, I love Jerry Glanville. Don't you know that?
Yeah.
You tell.
We both love Jerry
Glanville.
So,
and they just created a category
5 years ago?
5 years ago.
Right. No, I wasn't going. But he's a Hall of Fame person, in my opinion.
He's classy. Yeah, there's no question about that. He'd have to start his own Hall of Fame when it comes to that.
Right. He's like the WWE to take your own Hall of Fame up. But I do appreciate you guys.
I know that John had a great relationship with the coach. So
he was there with the Oilers for a number of years.
Well, I appreciate you guys, and I hope to see you next Thursday. Well, not you see it, because you take a day off. But
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. 256-576-4977. That is the telephone number. Bruce Feldman from The Athletic ranks the top 25 college head football coaches. It must be much, because here we go with your list of top 25 collegiate head coaches. No shock, number 1 is Nick Saban. Number 2 is Dabo Swinney from Clemson. Number 3, Kirby Smart from Georgia. If you've got any problem with these, just give me the high sign. Number 4, Ryan Day at Ohio State. The Ohio State University. Number 5, Brian Kelly from LSU. Number 6, Lincoln Riley from Southern California. Number 7, the 7th best coach in all of college football is Jimbo Fisher from Texas A&M.
Well, and he has something the two in front of him didn't. That's the national championship. Yeah.
8, Kyle Whittingham from Utah. 9, James Franklin from Penn State. Rounding out the top 10 is Luke Fickell, Cincinnati's head football coach. Wake Forest head football coach Dave Clawson checks in at number 11. Jim Harbaugh, the Michigan head football coach, is at number 12. He spoke with the media today, and Coach was asked, I believe, about going on a recruiting trip of his own on, of all days, National Signing Day.
Yeah, when I came here February 3rd, 2012, or 2000, I came here in January of 2015, signed a 7-year deal, and 7 years was up, and that's what precipitated it. See if that was something that I wanted to do, or take a look at it.
What was the process like for you? You've been in the NFL, you know what it's like. What was it like going through that conversation with them?
Yeah, I mean, just whatever. It just ultimately decided this is where I wanted to be, and really a lot of gratitude for that. And like I said earlier, I mean, it's just right now it's scary good. You try to define what that is. I mean, it's just, you know, the law of averages are going to catch up to you at some point, but that's the place where you want to be. And as I walk around our field, and whether it's the weight room, whether it's out there with the guys, coaches and players. I mean, it's people that are engaged, people that players will come up to you and they got a smile on their face. What's up, coach? What do we got today? It just makes the days fly by. So we're having a blast, and continuing that on as we get going here in spring ball.
Create.
What was that?
That was
weird. If you, other than
I didn't
his
edit that.
weird delivery that he had,
Yeah.
he sounded like somebody else. Who does he sound like to you? His voice. If you didn't know it was Jim Harbaugh, who would you say that sounded like? Another guy's kind of gone off the deep end, in my opinion. Those Big Ten, something's in the water. It's just not in Detroit.
Who are you thinking of?
Oh, Drew DeArmond's favorite coach of all time.
Urban Liar?
Urban Liar.
You think he sounds like
If
Urban
you
Liar?
go back and listen, his tone sounded like him. I mean, he sounded like Urban Liar.
Maybe his cadence.
No, he had his cadence. It's just his voice. I mean, the whole time I was going, this sounds like Urban Liar.
I just when I first heard that, that's a press conference from today, as Michigan prepares for their
never
spring.
answered the question.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I mean,
so I went back and re-listened to it like 3 times and was like, okay, so what exactly is he saying? What's he essentially saying is, they didn't offer me the job. They wanted me to fight for the job in Minnesota, and when they did not, sit me down and say the job is yours, okay, bye, I'm going to go back to Michigan.
That's what it sounded like to me.
Yep.
Kind of. But the players, man, right? They come up to say, "Hey, coach." Hey, when's the pole assassin coming up here?
That's all. That's Michigan. They're
what
in
has
Ann
happened
Arbor.
to the coaching ranks? I mean, it's just
the coaching ranks. Number 13 behind Jim Harbaugh is Matt Campbell at Iowa State. Mario Cristobal checks in at number 14. The new head man in charge there at the U. Mark Stoops, the Kentucky head football coach, 15th best head coach in the country, according to Stuart Mandel. Number 16 behind Mark Stoops, Chip Kelly at UCLA. Number 17 is Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. 18 is Kirk Ferentz at Iowa. Number 19 is Ole Miss style Hugh Freeze from Liberty. Number 20 is Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State. 21, P.J. Fleck at Minnesota. Paul Chryst from Wisconsin checks in at 22. Lance Leopold. Do you know where he coaches? I didn't either. Kansas. The Kansas head coach is 23rd on this list. Jeff Monken, the Army head coach, is at number 24. And Kalani Stataki, the BYU coach.
That's an old Kalani.
Coaches that were just missed the cut include Pat Fitzgerald, David Shaw, Jamie Chadwell, the Coastal Carolina coach, Billy Napier, Mac Brown, Dana
Gus isn't on
Holgerson,
there?
Bill
How
Clark.
Can Gus not be on there?
How about that?
He played. I don't get it.
Bill Clark at UAB also just missed the cut. This, according to Bruce Feldman. Of any of those coaches that I would move up and then move one down, I would definitely move Mario Cristobal into the top 10.
Oh, why?
I think he's that good of a complete coach.
Okay, so
he's won a couple.
Then?
He's won because he can recruit and he can coach said recruits as well, and he can get results in some hardware that he's already gotten when he was out at Oregon with 2 Pac-12 championships.
But he never made the playoffs.
Well, that's why I said top 10. I didn't say top 5.
Yeah, but to me,
he's right on the cusp.
He wasn't on the cusp. He lost 3 games last year. He played horrible at the end of the year.
So you wouldn't have him in the top 10?
No, I don't think he...
You would have Luke Fickell above him. You'd have James Franklin above him.
Yes.
You'd have Kyle Whittingham in front of him.
I don't know about that.
Thank you very much.
Where's Gus? How can Gus How can you be
just fall off the radar, right?
Yeah, I mean I think Gus has always said he was a good coach. I mean, I did. Why are you laughing about that?
Just how you said it. Well, Gus always said he was a good coach.
No, I said I've always said Gus was a good coach. He just wasn't. He's a player's guy, so he didn't have a lot of discipline, which caused him issues. I mean, I didn't say, but how can he not be in the top 12 anyway? To me, I mean, he played for a national championship in the BCS era.
Won an SEC championship.
Yeah, it came close another year.
In 17.
Right.
Losing to Georgia.
After he beat Georgia and Alabama back-to-back. You don't do that and not be a top 10 coach.
Went 9-4 last year.
At Central.
With the Golden Knights.
Yeah.
For those of you that did miss the spectacular answer from Jim Harbaugh, I just wanted to play it one more time just so you're clear on why he came back to Michigan.
The players, Steve, they talk to him.
Yeah, I mean, just whatever. It just ultimately decided this is where I wanted to be, and really a lot of gratitude for that. And like I said earlier, it's just right now it's scary good.
Scary good.
Try to define what that is. I mean, it's just, you know, the law of averages are going to catch up to you at some point, but that's the place where you want to be.
Of course it is.
And as I walk around our field, and whether it's the weight room, whether it's out there with the guys, coaches and players. I mean, it's people that are engaged, people that players will come up to you and they got a smile on their face. What's up, coach? What's up, coach? What we got today? It just makes the days fly by. So we're having a blast, and continuing that on as we get going.
Having a blast.
Has anybody else said anything about that?
It just happened today. That was this afternoon. We need to take our final time out. We will wrap things up on the other side here on The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com. Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you'd go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
Hello, listeners. My name is Jonathan Dunwoody, and I own Minuteman Press. We are a full-service print shop that is locally owned and operated. I have personally been handling direct mail for over 17 years and have a great relationship with the USPS. We are the only print shop in the area that is listed as a print provider on their website and the only printing franchise that can use their logo as our partner on marketing materials. We can help from conception to design, print, and delivery to the post office. And with our easy, secure online payment option, you don't even need to leave your office. Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Mostly dry this afternoon, though sitting under a mostly cloudy sky. Temperatures climbing only into the mid and upper 50s. Another round of widespread rain moves into the Tennessee Valley as we head into the evening, the overnight, and through the earliest part of Wednesday morning. A mostly cloudy sky through Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures only climbing into the low and mid 50s, dropping into the mid and upper 30s as we head into the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Thursday. Temperatures hanging out in the low and mid 60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Online at 97.